Two more questions. Who would they be at the back?
We've heard a lot of facts and figures tonight about, who, and in a sense about moral authority, I think, between the two sides. And look, I just wondered if Jim and Angela could quickly comment on, the facts and figures around 600 church clergy who've been prosecuted for abusing young children in Australia, and yet not one person from the so-called pornography industry has ever been convicted of that in Australia. And I just think that gives a lead to moral authority in this sense. And we never hear you speak about this, and I think that it's, we'd all like to hear something about it.
Yeah, I'm only too happy to address this actually, because I think it's an issue that hasn't been addressed adequately. Some of you won't like this, but this is fact, okay? In Australia, in Ireland, in America, the people who have prosecuted the sexual offence against minors have in Australia been over 70%, and remember that the churches who have been victims of this have had a policy where they do not accept homosexuals as part of their clergy. I do not accept. And yet in Australia, over 70% of the offences have been committed by homosexual clergy. In America, the figure is over 90%, I think it is. And in certainly 80 to 90%, I just forget the exact figure. And in Ireland, more recently, it is again 70-something%. And as recently as the last couple of months, in a report that came out from the Archdiocese of Brisbane, again the figure was over 70%, in fact in the high 70s. Now what I say to you is, yes, the church has a problem with this, there's no doubt. But it is being perpetrated by people that the church would never have put into authority in the churches. Now it's not an excuse, the church sorry? No, but the church would not have admitted into authority, positions of authority, had they known about their sexual preference.
It's not the church's fault, it's the bloody homeowners.
No, I'm saying to you, it is exacerbated by the fact that the people who have gone in there would not have been there if the church, if they'd been implementing
pedophilia. I didn't think it was their sexuality.
Well, I'm saying to over 70% of the problem is actually to do with the sexuality, which the church has never. They're pedophiles, but it was they're pedophiles with a homosexual attraction, which the church would not have allowed in there. Sorry? No, I just said to you, and the sort of figures that you're talking about here are also replicated in schools, in all sorts of places which are not churches. And I don't know the figures of the sex industry. I imagine there's probably less opportunity than in a school or a church. No, but I imagine there's probably less opportunity in the sex industry. Well, I would hope there would, because I would hope there wouldn't be children in there. Right? But in churches and in schools, there are children there.
I wasn't aware of any studies that said there was a higher incidence of pedophilia among homosexuals anyway. I think the problem is pedophilia. I don't think it's to do with their sexuality.
All right, well that's your view. Well, I can actually. I don't have them here with me now, but yes, there are many, right? But I'm quoting you a figure to do with the question I was asked, which was about sexual abuse in the church.